So let's just take a listen. Okay, so I've got the idea. And I'm just going to start working here in the box, and then I'm going to add some other instruments, and I'm going to add a new section. So what I'm feeling like it needs a little bit of an introduction. So I'm going to go down here to the groups area. All right, let's get a little more illuminated. So I'm going to go down here to the groups area, and I'm going to select all and then hit the little button there. And I'm going to go to 1, and I'm just going to go like this. And I'm going to make a 4-bar intro, right? So what I want to do is actually, let's do this. I've got some clips that are before measure 1, so I'm going to go back to measure 0. And I'll separate everything out with Command E. And I'm going to do, I think it's Option H, later by, and I'm going to move it later by 4 measures. Oh, interesting. Interesting. It actually moved our song start. So let's do it this way. Great. So that was Option H. All right. Now, let's copy 4 bars here. And then go back to measure 1. And paste that. And I think I'm going to just do, I'm going to do 1 bar of the bass. And then I'm going to, hold on a second. Okay, so I'm going to copy those 2 measures. Interesting. I did not get my downbeat copy. Did you see that? So you got to be careful sometimes and double check. So you see on measure 1, there's no kick drum on the downbeat. So I'm just going to Option, click. I don't have the side camera set up because I have it set up on the audio interface. So I'm just going to Option, click, and drag this over here. On beat 1. There we go. And then I'm going to get back to that upright bass, which I had copied already. And I'm going to paste that there. And okay, so I missed out my downbeat. Interesting, right? Let's get a downbeat over there and get that downbeat long enough. And I do not want this note here. Copy, and I'm going to merge paste that right on there. Okay, so let's see what we've got now. Okay, so excuse me. I'm having a problem with something in the bass line, right? And let me just show you what it is. this note stops too early. Oops, sorry. I want to get it off right on the backbeat. Do, 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 off. All right, so that's good. Now let's take our acoustic guitar. Let's just take this 2 measures. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that in at measure 3 so that I've got a nice little pyramid built up, right? So it starts off with the drums and bass. So now that I'm doing this, I don't like what I've done on the piano here, so I'm just going to mute that. So I separate it out with Command E, and I'm going to just mute this and take a listen now. Okay, I'm liking that better. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go here and I'm going to save as, oh, so I didn't put the date on this. So this would be 11-16-20, and then this would be version 2. Okay, so now I can go back. If I don't like this, I can go back to the earlier version, and I've got this set up. So I'm going to do a little work on the drums right now, all right? Because I've got, like, everything is sort of just over and over again. And now that I've got this played up a little bit, there's a couple things with the hi-hats that I don't like. Well, first of all, there's no hi-hat in the downbeat where there should be. So let's add one. So I don't like this hole here. So I'm just going to put a hi-hat there, and I don't like this hole here either. Yeah. So all those little stutter thingies, I don't like that much. All right, nice. So I like what I've done there. So now I'm going to, right? And I'm just going to duplicate this. Right, I just want to replace what I've done already because it was too stuttery before. And this is just, I'm just putting up, I'm going to work on this now a little bit more. So let's do this here. And I'm going to save, right? So I want a little fill, right? And I'm going to change the velocity. So now I've got, no, it's right, it's 8th note. Okay. And And then here, right on the downbeat there, I'm just doing something real subtle. Okay, so need a little bit more oomph there. So I'm going to increase the velocity on those two. Right, so you see how I'm just going along and making little edits, and I'm creating a drum performance, right? Subtle, nothing crazy. So where's that accent there? Okay, so now in boom, I want to change that kick drum. So let's get boom up here, and I'm going to make each of these a different color, right, by clicking on here. So now I can edit both of these. All right, so now all right, so right, let's do here. We're going to do a little something here. So I'm going to do something here. Right, I'm moving that to the foot, and then bow of the ride cymbal there. And I'm just going to do an offbeat. New York City, 1980s.
I'm sorry, Professor. How are you doing this? With an option click?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm dragging. Let's just hear what that sounds like. Let's move all these up so that they're foot. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to move all these up so that they're done with the foot. And then I'm going to copy these, right? Or I can just select all those and then just click and drag all those over here. Ta 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 ta. So I'm not going for those crash cymbals. I'm not a big fan of how they sound. Right on the downbeat there. me change the duration so I can see those. So let's do this. I'm going to select every note that's this pitch by clicking on the keyboard over here, and I'm going to change the duration of that to 240. And now I can see those a lot better. And the same thing with the kick drum. All these long notes. I can't do that here because they share notes, so I'll just leave that the way it is. Okay, so now I can see these instruments a little bit easier. Little drum fill, right? And open hi-hat there. All right, so you see like nothing big, right? No big deal, nothing crazy, nothing over the top, just something that fits. Look at the bass for a second. All right, let's get rid of this and let's make this a long note. Not completely up to the next downbeat. Let's make this a little longer. Yup. So let's do phrasing. Let's make this nice and long. Okay, so bum, bum, bum. I might want to accent that. Let me just see. No, I accented with the kick drum. That's good enough. Okay, so now let's look at this again here. All right, so I only like it happening every other one. The hi-hat. Right, so let's select those two measures and then, okay, I just pasted that. And notice if I just hold down the keys, it just keeps going. Whoops, whoa, stop, no. Oh my goodness, what did I do? Okay, I can get rid of that later. Okay, so there's a little issue here. Unfortunately, somehow that those beats there got Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why that's happening. All right, I'm just going to go through here and delete some of these. Let's do this. So we've got 1, 2, we've got these 4 measures. Good. So let's just get rid of all this other stuff till the end. And there's an extra little guy here. We don't need him. And let's get this that's happening right. So if I groove quantize, sometimes it goes before the downbeat, which is what's happening on those notes that are still there. So now I can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. So that should be enough for right now. And then again, like a little fill leading up to the 4 chord there, or the A. So what if I just did, let's get the, yeah, that's nice. I like that. That's, no, I don't like that. So what I just did was I added a bunch of bass notes here, kick drums here. And I'm going to make the kick drum a little bit busier here. Boom, 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 boom. So here I will have a crash, all right? Because it's a little more intense. Whoops. Let me think about this for a second. So we're just getting our bell of the ride symbol again, and then I'll change the velocities. Oops, after I... So I selected all those, holding the command key down, and then dragging all the way up. Whoops, wrong pitch. All right, so I can... Whoops, they're on the beat. I don't want them there. I want them on the off beat. Okay, I'm going to leave that for now. Now, I want to listen to these congas here, right? So I'm going to make them elastic audio, right? We know how to do that. We change the time base to ticks right here. And then we select our algorithm, which is rhythmic. And then I'm going to do option 0. And I'm going to leave it to the mosaic groove, which I had used, and I'm going to apply that because I didn't play this really well. I'm not a percussionist. Okay, so I'm in good shape here with this, right? I've just spent about 25 minutes, and this is about 10 times better already. Just making some. Oh, how did you copy the hi-hat so quickly with the mouse? Yes, option click. Thank you. Option click drag. All right, so I want a middle section here. Okay, so let's do some markers here. So I've got enter, that's my intro. And verse 1. I'm just going to do rough ones. I could make a, a little section here. That could be another section, but let's just go. And right here, we'll just call this VS2. And then 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then right here, we'll have a bridge. All right. So I'm going to do this similarly how I did the last one. Now, I just tuned this up a little while ago, but I'm going to double check it. Yeah, see, it's a little flat. Okay, so let's get set up here, and I'm going to put this on acoustic guitar track 2. So, all right, so I've already got that plugged in here. I've got phantom power on, but I've got the input gain off, right? So that I'm not going to make any, buzzing sound, clicking sounds or popping sounds that are going to deafen me. Oh, except that, right? Great. That's really good. All right, so let's just do this. Jeez. Okay, so I turned off the phantom power because it was making all that popping stuff. That's a new one on me. Okay, so you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm just positioning the mic, which you can't see because it's white, it's black, and everything else in my studio is black. Anyway, the mic is here, right? There we go. And I'm just sort of positioning it so that it's facing towards me and it's at a good angle. And I'm going to position myself. Now, obviously, I know my guitar and really well, so I know that this is a good position, except that this is in the way, so I got to move this out of my way. All right, so I'm going to turn the phantom power back on, and I'm going to up the gain. Ah, damn. There's something with this connection on this mic that's a little funky. I apologize. I hope I didn't deafen anyone. It can have a little more gain. Not a lot more, but a little more. So you're going to hear it through both this mic and this mic until I play it back. So if it ends like this, so that's a C sharp. So I'm going to go up a half step to a D flat, to a D major. Yeah, something like that, right? Okay. Let's see if I can, let me just practice that one more time. All right. Okay, great. So so I'm going to give myself 2 measures before. 3, 4, 2. Play the right, get my hand ready to play. Okay, so I liked everything up until those, up until these chords, the slash chords there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this for right now, and I'm going to want to punch in right there, and I'm going to give myself a pre-roll. Let's see. Right, so I just, let me go over that again. So I'm selecting this and I'm deleting this, and I want to come in here and I've turned on my pre-roll, and then I'm just going to play that. So I got my left hand ready. One more time. I'm a little too early here. I got off right before the downbeat. Okay, so I like that. And this is panned. This one is panned 86 to the left, so I'm going to pan this 86 to the right. Right? And I'm going to do one of my favorite tricks. So it's just 81. And I'm going to just play the same part and pan it hard left and right. Okay, I thought I was going to erase something. One more time. I have to turn the volume on this one up because I can't hear it in the headphones. So I can play along with it. Anticipation. Ugh. All right, I think I can make it a little better, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this as a playlist. So I'm going to duplicate this, right? This little downward facing triangle to the right of the name. I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to call this take 3. All right, and I'm just going to record the same thing. Okay, I'm going to do the same punch in I did before. Save. Great. Turn off my pre-roll. So I want this a straighter rhythm here. I don't want it to be so tick 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 like with different rhythms. So I'm just copying all these hi-hat notes over for right now. So I'm just going to do very simple. All right, so I'm just doing four on the floor, what they call that, with the bass drum. And I'm just option clicking and dragging all that stuff over. Wow, I did the same thing on both of those tracks. Came in a little early. Let's see if I can fix that. Ugh, that's horrible. All right. Let's see. So I'm going to get rid of this and this and this and this. And then I'm going to slide these back in time a little. Whoops. And let's separate this out. Now, what I've done here, right, let me show you a little trick, an editing trick, is I've chopped these off and it's going to sound a little strange. See how it sort of, right, it ends and then it comes in afterwards. To fix that with an edit, instead of dragging here, because you see we have the transient of the next chord, you drag back this way a little bit, right? And then you do a nice crossfade, and that will most likely clean that up, right? So just like that, and then hitting the F key. You can hear it a little bit, but you won't hear that in the track. Okay, so this whole bit here actually is ahead of the beat. So let me clean that up again by just sliding a little bit. Just a little bit later. Great. And then now we've got our drum parts here. Let's see. We're going to copy and paste those. How come we missed our downbeat on the kick drum there? That's always happening. Pro Tools, what's up with that? You know, I don't know if I like this drum beat ultimately. I'm going to just leave that like that for now, and I'm going to come back to that. So let me get my bass in. And notice here that something weird happened. Okay, so look how this clip ends funny. So let's fix that. So we're going to make this bass note last for a whole measure just by clicking and dragging that out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to consolidate that by clicking. I'm holding the Shift key down and going all the way over there, and then Option Shift 3, and then that's been consolidated. All right, so I'm going to play an acoustic bass line. Okay, so I am not liking that 4 on the floor kick drum. So what I'm going to do right is throwing me off. I'm going to just mute all those, right? So it's Command M, and see how they get grayed out? They're now muted. All right, so 1 bar before. Oops, excuse me. I'm going to record this in case a miracle happens. So. Oops, I've got MIDI merge on. I don't want that. 3, 4. Yeah, okay, I like that. 2, 3, 4. Ah, damn. Almost. Let's quantize that. Let's clean that up at the end. Oh, it's the Police.
Yes.
Giant steps are what you take, walking on the moon. Okay. Sting is a great bass player, by the way. I know he's like all new agey and stuff, but in the Police, tremendous bass lines, like genre-defining bass lines. Okay, I'm going to leave the drums alone for a minute because I want to move forward with this. All right, so I've got this pad I haven't used yet. too dark. So let's see if we got something else in here. Let's see if we've got some like soft, something soft. Let's look at a choir. Female ooh wide. So what I'm doing here is I've got this mapped to volume. Expression, actually. This one is mapped to volume. MIDI volume and MIDI expression. So I'm just getting a nice level. 2, 3, 4. Okay. That's fine for now. I got electric piano. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. More time. 1, 2, ready, go. Great. I'm not even going to quantize that. I like the way that felt. What do I want to do? Do I want to do organ? All right, let's try this organ. See what it comes off as. Okay, so get out of my way. Listening. Okay, that's good. Let's fix up a few things. First of all, I came in a beat late and $1 short, and I want it to be louder at the top, and I want there to be the fast Leslie. The rotary speed is controlled by the mod wheel. Well, let's... Oh, that's mod wheel? No, 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 no. We want expression, and we want... Great. So now the only other thing I want to do here is I'm going to play a melody guitar. So let's see, is that a stereo track? Yes. And this is coming into 5 and 6. And get out of my way, microphone. You know, if I'm doing a track like this, which most of you guys are going to be doing popish tracks, this is exactly how I work, right? Just as I'm doing here. I don't write anything out. I'm doing this all by ear. I can certainly write things out. I mean, I had to do that to get my master's degree, and I read music every day. But all right, so turn that on. Youch. Okay, so remember that. Oh, that's horrible. Okay. I have this amp. Let me turn it off here. And let me turn up the gain a little. So I've got a little bit of an electricity problem in my house. All right. Got that buzz there, right? So if I keep it in between, I don't get the buzz. All right, so I'm going to play around and come up with like a little melody for the bridge. So if I'm going to do audio track and jam along while it's playing, oops, I want to make sure that I am not recording over my organ track. So I got to remember that. You got to turn the MIDI record enable off if you're going to go from recording MIDI to recording audio. Otherwise, you'll erase this because it doesn't automatically turn off when you go to a melody track. So if I were to play this now, see I'm playing the guitar now, you're not hearing anything, right? You have to have this little eye turned on, so that's input monitoring. Okay, so that seems to be a good position to not have any mic buzz. Let me make sure I'm in tune. I should be because I tuned it up, but no, I'm not. I'm a little flat because I turned the air conditioning on for a second in here. It's really stuffy.
Do you have any specific words of advice for recording guitar with distortion on it like you're doing right now?
Yep. Make sure that it's as quiet with buzz as possible. So that means, right, so you can hear, even if this was humbucking pickups, you'd still get some buzz. And notice now I've positioned myself here. I'm at a certain angle from the amp, and the amount of noise is acceptable. What you'll do is if you're playing a part that's like this, with space in between it, you'll go in and edit out all the blank audio and clean that all up so there's no noise. All right? That's crunch. That's not really high gain. Because if I play it soft, you can hear that it's still pretty clean. All right, so let me play along, and I'm just going to record in case I come up with something that's, you know, usable. Why not? It's not like we've got tape to worry about. Whoops. Okay, so I'm just getting I didn't like that tone. 1, 2. Not bad. I'm going to keep that and move forward, right? So I'm going to do here, duplicate, and we're going to call this now notice it changes the name of the track, right? When I change that. Okay. time. Oh, I wish I was a guitar player. You know, for the purposes of our class, that's a beautiful take. Actually, that wasn't bad. I mean, I could go back and clean up a few little notes here and there, but I'm just going to keep pushing forward. All right. Save. Okay. Great. I'm turn off record enable. And now, okay, so now look. Let me make this really big. So so all the space in between here, I'm going to clean that up so that I don't have that noise, right? So I'm just going to click here, hit Command E to separate that out, double click and delete. And let me solo this and see how long that lasts. So right here, I don't need all of that. That's just noise. And I'll do a little fade there. A little too abrupt, right? So I could just drag this out and just keep the fade in. Yep. So, you know, I'm getting rid of the built-in reverb that is in the amp. I can fix that up. Right, so if you do an overdriven guitar, this is your ticket. Just getting rid of all this noise. You don't need that in there. All right, so it's a little dry, so I'm going to add some delay to that. And I don't know what I've got that set for. So this is a trick I've taught some of the people that have taken classes before with me. But for you newbies, I am taking off some of the high frequencies with this low pass filter. And this way, every time the repeats will not sound exactly the same timbre-wise as the original sound. And I'm going to add a little more feedback, which is the number of repeats. And I'm going to add just a little bit of that plate reverb, just to tie it all together. So notice I'm mixing as I'm going along, right? And I'm going to do a double thing here. So I'm going to use my 7-band EQ, and I'm going to turn on the high pass filter, and I'm going to get rid of a lot of that low end information. And then I want to add some meat, right? I'm listening for the add some thickness. And then I'm going to compress that, and I'm going to use the BF76. I'm going to do, the organ's a little loud. I don't want to touch my expression, so I'm just going to do a little automation of the volume, MIDI volume here, right? And just bring that down. Great. Okay. I still have to clean up that drums. I know that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just quickly change my grid to here. Oh, I need to go to grid mode. Excuse me. Copy verse 2. Paste it there. Okay, so we missed out. We lost a couple of notes at the beginning of that for some reason, so we just have to clean that up. Whoops. And when I have our kick drum is gone. Jeez. Okay, so I need to do some stuff here now to make this a little different, right? So it's going to be in the piano part, right? So let me just figure out what I did so I can do something. Okay, so I'm going to delete that, and I know where I started from with this riff. Save. Yeah, like that. So from here on out, that's weak. So I'm just going to fix that. So I'm going to start a measure before, and I'll just do MIDI merge, and I'm not going to do any pre-roll. So I'll just go for a measure, and then it'll start recording, and then I'll come in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, one more time. So I have to undo, Command Z. 2, 3, 4. Good. All right. So I've got this done now, right? And I want to send this off to Arun to add saxophone, tenor saxophone on here somewhere. Maybe I'll mute the guitar, the lead guitar in the middle, and say, hey, Arun, can you play this here? And then maybe I'll get rid of the electric guitar. So how do you do that? You have to make what's called a stem mix. All right. So there's two ways of going about this. I believe that if you have your metronome turned on during play and record, it will record your metronome, your click track. But if you don't want to do that, what you can do is this. So Command Shift N, one new mono audio track, and call this click audio, right? And then you can just bust the output. Whoops, sorry. Bust the output of your click to input bus 7. And we don't need, why do you have we don't need a plate on the click track. That's ridiculous. Bus 7, and then hit record. And I'm just going to solo this, and then I'll start from the beginning. And you see I'm making an audio track that has the click in it. Now, typically what I would do is I would just let this play out for the length of the song. Right? So if I go somewhere else to a studio, even if they've got Pro Tools, I print the click track because I know that my click track is what I played to, what everything is lining up to. And I have, not so much now, but why take the chance? You know, it takes a couple of minutes to just print the click track. I wouldn't typically do this, but for just to save some time now, I'm just going to copy all right, so I've got 6 measures, and I'm just going to duplicate that, Command D. All right, and that goes for the length of the piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 2 bars up front, right? So we're starting at -1, and that'll give us 2 measures up front. So I'm going to select all this, and I'm going to bounce this to disk. There's 2 ways of going about this. You can bounce this to disk as if you were making a bounced mix, right, which would be Option Command B. You can do that. Or another way to do that with the click is to consolidate this with it's Option Shift 3, right? Option Shift 3. And then I believe it's Command Shift K. And we're going to export this, and we're going to choose a destination directory, and I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call this stems. And I'm going to put the tempo into this, right, 110 BPM. So I'll call this, AM, whatever the title of your track is. This one is called AM2 stems 110 BPM. You know, if you want to put the date, that's fine. And your initials, something like that. Whoops. Okay, so your stems are going to go in there. And I'm going to click open, and then I'm going to export that. Now, you could just mute this now. You don't need this. And you can change this so that it's not playing during playback, only playing during record. You could just make a mix. You could just go like this. You mute this, and you've got everything selected, right? You could just bounce this to disk and call this AM2. Stems all, right? And then you can choose your directory. See, we got a click audio. And then you can export that, right? But what I forgot to do was mute the guitar part. So that's electric guitar, melody guitar. All right, so I could just send this whole thing off, right? So let's do that. And okay, so we choose our directory where it's going to go to. It's going to go to our stems mix. And bounce. Okay. Or what we can do is we can make multiple stem mixes, which gives him the option of only hearing the instruments he wants to hear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo the drums and the bass, right? So I've got my rhythm section. So I'm going to go Command M, RHY stems, right? Unsolo by holding the Option key down and clicking on the S, and then solo all our keyboards. Keys, whoops, stems. Oh, I got to make sure it's in the right directory. Yes, okay, great. So you got to double check that it's going into the right spot. That's this down here. And our guitars. We'll do all of our guitars. All right, we're not doing the melody guitar, but we're just doing the guitars, all right? So I've soloed those. And notice, the reason I'm making sure this is the same length because my click track is still highlighted. So that's going to be the length of every track is going to be the length of the click track so that everything can be imported as one and it'll all line up. All right, so this will be guitars. Whoops. Bluggity, 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 blah. All right, and let's see, let's make all these the same size. That's good. Let's save this. All right, and then I'm going to close this. And I'm going to open up a new session. And I'm going to call this stems, right? Whatever. And I'll save that on my desktop. And then what you would have done in the interim is you would have double checked here. So you've got all your stems right here. So I made a mistake with my click, right? This is that I should really put this into 110 BPM. All right. Really, that should be in there. I made a mistake. Actually, you know, the tempo, I would probably have put the tempo in every one of these, but make sure at least one of these audio files has the tempo of that it should be in it, and it should really be the click. Okay, so let's say that I would compress this, upload it to Dropbox, email it to Arun or whoever. Maybe you want Huna or Rosaline to sing on your track. Right, so you would upload this Dropbox, then you would download it, you'd open it up. And here's your stems, so you want to get your tempo straight at 110, because you know that that's what the tempo is, and you're going to go to Import Audio. You'll navigate to that folder, which is on our desktop, and we're going to select all of these, and we're going to convert, all right? Or copy, convert or copy, and then session start. Whoops. All right, so we have our click track. We can bring it up here. We can mute that. But now I've got the whole track. I don't know why there's two drum tracks in here, but there's two drum tracks, so I'm going to get rid of one of them. But here we've reduced the entire piece down into 4 tracks, right? So that's easy because if Arun doesn't want to play along with the keyboards, right, he can just mute those. and he can come in, play on the bridge. And then you might just, you could just write down on a piece of paper the chords there and take a picture of it and send it to him in the email.